Alright, let's try this. Let's see how this works. Alright.
So which one lines hit?
He's got
12 a.m. Ralph Roy Motel. Stephen Dengler gripped his revolver with one hand. Finger tightly curled around the trigger. Sweat ran down his brow and his lips curled into a snarl as fierce as an angry horse. Butts! He whispered across the doorway. Steve Butts looked up, similarly holding a pistol.
Ready?
Butts nodded. The newbie was clearly uncomfortable. This was his first real bust. Some kind of small-time group of criminals who wanted to bust down the doors at a charity operation in Canada. The Desert Bust, they called it. We could hear them plotting just inside the dank motel as we limbered ourselves up.
This will be no simple task.
Said a man, clearly
A
Russian.
woman.
Said a woman. Said a woman, clearly Russian. She sounded big and battle-hardened.
The moon base has extensive security.
Our agents can handle it, I assure you.
This one sounded more American. Maybe British at a stretch.
Then we should begin as soon as we can.
It was then that the door was burst in. Both were scruffy, both were armed to the teeth with a wide variety of knives and firearms, and both had revolvers pointed directly at them.
Freeze!
Came the voice of Butts as the two cops stepped fully into the motel room. Neither of the terrorists moved, aside from a grin and a twitch from the American. His phone was sending a message.
You are too late.
He said. He looked completely self-satisfied.
We've already dispatched 100 agents to the moon base. Those children will never get the money.
Butts and Dengler kicked the two men to the ground and cuffed them. 12:35, road to the moon base.
Sure.
Yeah.
You can't do this to me, Dengler!
The yells of the chief threatening to burst the cell phone speakers.
You need to get back to the station pronto!
I'm sorry, Chief, but this problem is bigger than both of us, and I'm not just gonna sit down and let it happen.
Dengler's foot was fully outstretched, forcing the pedal down as far as it would possibly move.
Butts, take this call! I need to drive!
Butts and Dengler could both hear the chief screaming as the phone was handed over. Dengler's grip tightened on the steering wheel, and his knuckles were white. The engine screamed in protest, but still, he did his best to pump all the fuel it could. There was a black vehicle in the distance as they were closing in fast. The outline of the moon base was just on the horizon.
Chief,
Said Butts as calmly as he could with his adrenaline pumping.
we're already there.
More imperceptible yelling, then the phone clicked off. Butts cursed and threw it to the floor of the car.
We're off the case, Dengler.
Do you really think this is about the case anymore?
Asked Dengler, leaning forward in his seat as they approached the vehicle.
I could care less about our jurisdiction, Butts. I've got a bus to save. To be continued. Dude, we're an awesome...